Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Andrei Dornik. I'm from West University of Timișoara, Romania, and I will present today our work entitled Towards a Consistent Set of Land Surface Variables for Landslide Modeling. Of course, we all know that land surface variables are extremely easy to derive from digital elevation models. However, a consistent approach in selecting variables relevant to landslides is still missing. This lack of consistency lead to results that are mainly based on experience of the analyst, of the user, or even worse, based on randomly selected variables. So our objective in this work is to find, if possible, a set of land surface variables capable to help in identifying landslide scarps in various landscape conditions. We have tested this hypothesis in 6 study areas with different environmental conditions, 3 study areas in Romania, 2 study areas in Japan, and 1 study area in the United States. As data, we used landslide scarps databases compiled from different sources like archive data, geomorphological field mapping, authority databases, stereographic photo interpretation, or LiDAR data. These are polygon data. So we prepared the databases for statistical analysis as following: presence data with 1 point randomly selected within each scarp, and absence data with the same number of points randomly selected outside scarp polygons. As a standard procedure, we divided the databases in 2 subsets: 70% for training and 30% for validation. We have used 3 measures for validation: 1 for model fit based on training data, and 2 measures, overall accuracy and area under the curve, based on validation data. As of course, data for land surface variables, we used the SRTM-DM at 30-meter resolution. So we initially derived 24 land surface variables, and after a correlation analysis, only 14 were retained for analysis. So this is the main part of the analysis, aiming to identify a generalizable subset of terrain variables for landslide modeling. We used variable importance analysis based on random forest in R, and the algorithm mean decrease in accuracy was used to rank the importance of variables. After we identified the variables, the generalizable subset of variables, we have predicted landslide scarps using logistic regression, and we tested our model against other 2 models. So the first model is our model with the identified generalizable subset of variables. Of course, they are somehow important predictors in all study areas. That is the idea. The second model is the best model specific to each study area, so it's locally calibrated model. With background stepwise logistic regression, we have identified the best predictors in each study area. And the third model is a model based on 6 terrain variables proposed by Lecour and his team, as they capture more than 70% of the topographic structure of an area. These are the 6 terrain variables: relative difference to mean elevation, standard deviation of elevation, easternness, northernness, local mean, and slope. Keep in mind that these 6 terrain variables were not proposed specifically for landslide modeling, but more generally for environmental modeling. So the main results, the first results is represented by the 14 land surface variables ranked in each study area. So with colors, we can differentiate the 6 study areas. And we could identify 3 land surface variables that emerge as important predictors for landslide scar prediction in all or almost all study areas. So these land surface variables are topographic negative openness in all study areas, in all 6 study areas. This variable is really important for scarp prediction. Obviously, slope, which is used in all studies of this kind. However, in one study area, slope was not an important predictor. And the third identified is the slope height, which show also as important in all study areas. So this is the model based on these 3 land surface variables, which is this model, LSMVI. If we compare the 3 models, we can see that our model outperformed the best locally calibrated model in 2 out of 6 cases. And also in another 2 cases, it was equal to the best model. And in B1 is worse, and in J2 study area is slightly worse than the best model. Comparing with the 6 terrain variables proposed by Lecour, our 3 variables identified outperform in 5 out of 6 cases. So we have drawn these conclusions. We have identified 3 land surface variables with potential of describing satisfactorily landslide scarps in various landscape conditions. These are negative topographic openness, which we interpret as describing the scarp shape; slope height, which we interpret describing the position on the slope; and of course, slope gradient as a landslide favorability factor. The second conclusion is that models based on these 3 land surface variables produced results comparable or even better in some cases than models built on locally calibrated land surface variables and models built on a larger number of variables. So our suggestion would be for those dealing with landslide scarp prediction, maybe to include this, probably slope is always included, maybe to include these other two variables in the initial pool of predictors. Okay, that's it. Thank you.